Make sure you follow me on social media to get updates and ask me questions. Enjoy the video. Like in every social networking website, we have to show the articles to the feed. So this is the continuation of our CRUD operations, and as I said, we take this step by step. So we are done with the create and the store. And from now on I will be using Eloquent, so I will get rid of the comments here. So let me delete these ones. And inside the store, I will keep only the one when we pass the request all. So everything else is deleted. Of course, in your case, you can keep them if you want, just to see the different ways you can create an article, but in my case I want the code to be clear, and because these are tutorials for you guys, I think that by having everything so clear as we have it now, it is much better. So let me first create the links in this drop down here, because we have the drop down, but we do not have the links to navigate throughout the application. So open the let me save this, open the app.blade.php file, which is our master file, and we should have the navigation bar somewhere here. So let me look for logout, and this is the navigation bar. So this is a list item, and what I will do is to create another one. This one will be for the profile, so this will get us directly to our profile. The path for this one should include the username of the authenticated user. So it will be something like this. The href will be slash, and then profile, and then slash again, and here is where we include the username of the authenticated user. So I will say auth and then user, and I will access the username, of course. And here for the text we can say my profile. So let me take a look at this. Oh, it's okay. So what else do we have? Let me go back to this. Let me bring this a bit to the center. Okay. So I will add the next link now above the my profile. We can have another one for the home page, okay? So right here I will create another anchor tag. The path to this will be home and the text home. So this is a URI that we have by default from the authentication, from the default authentication that Laravel provides, and we will see later what we can do with this URI. So next is the create an article, right? So we have an article. So we have a URI where we can create an article. So let me do it right here. So I will add an HR, and I'll create another ally there, and another anchor tag. So this one will be articles, and then slash create. For the text we can say create article. I will save this. Let's go back and see. It's fine, I guess. So if we go here, we go to the home page. If I go to my profile, we go to our profile, and then they create an article. Pretty good. Okay, so the last URI will be our news feed. So I will create another one right here. So this one will point to the articles URI, and then here we can say feed. Let's go back. Okay, I love this. So as you can see, in my case, I have 1000 articles, and this is because I have a testing project for each of the projects that you are watching. So, and in the testing project, what I did was to create a model factory and create 1000 articles. So this is why you get this result here. Don't worry about it, we will do it in a second together. So right now, let's go back to this and let's create a view for the index, because remember, we have this index function and this will return a view, and of course we have to pass the articles to that view. So let me create a view in the resources, views, articles, and we will name this, as I said, index.blade.php. I will copy the content from the create, paste it, just to avoid writing everything from the beginning. So let me get rid of some code here. Maybe the form is not needed, and maybe the heading is not needed as well. Okay. So now instead of returning the articles, I will return the view. which is inside articles, and then the view is called index. I will not pass the articles yet, so let's take a look at this. And of course, as you can see, this is totally empty. So the idea is to pass all the articles to our news feed. Now, there are a couple of ways to do this, and we have already seen them. So let me show you. The first way is that we could get all the articles, as we have done here, and pass them to the index, like this. So I can say here compact, and the compact should match our variable here, which is articles. So if I press save and I go back to this, we do not see anything because we forgot to loop through each article. But let's take a step back and let me to return again the articles. So this, as we saw earlier, this will return a JSON, right, with all the articles. Now, do you notice something here? We have 1000 articles, and it actually takes some time to render them, right, to render the JSON. And these are only 1000 articles. What about when we have 1 million articles, or 2 million, or 1 billion articles? Imagine how much time this will take. So getting the articles like this, it is actually not the best way. But anyway, let's continue with what we have here. So we will take care of the articles later. So we have some information here, like the content and the created ad, which is right here. I also want you to pay attention to this user here. This is a foreign key, and later in the course, once we finish with the CRUD operations, I will show you how to use relationships in order to get the user, the owner of this article, since we already have the ID for the user. Anyway, for now, simply output what we have available. So to do this, I will use a for-else loop inside the index file. You could also use a for each, but for this case I prefer a for-else loop. So I will start right here and I will say for else. So we have articles as article, and we also want to end this for-else loop. Now in case we do not have any article, then, so in case articles is empty, then I want to print no articles. Now, in case we have articles, then I want to output each article. So, at the heading, I will display the owner of the article, but now we do not have a relationship available, so I will hardcode my name here, and later in the course we will take care of this. Also, I will output the time that the article was created, using Carbon, of course. So right here we can say class pull right to take this to the right side of the screen, and then I will say article created at div for humans. Okay, if I save this and I go back to this now, and of course we have to return the view, so let's get rid of that return there. Okay, it looks alright, I guess. Now this is my result. As I said, I have already refreshed the database in my case a couple of times for the creation of this tutorial. So if you get an error that says call to a member function div for humans on null, it means that one of the articles has no created at value. So if you go to the database and you open the articles table, then one of the articles, or maybe two of your articles, they do not have a created at value. So it will be something like this. It will be null. So let me do this for both of them, and let me go back to this. As you can see, this is what you are getting. So as I said, in order to fix this, you can pass a created at value, or you can simply delete them. So in my case, I will just delete them. I do not need them for now. I will go back to this, and again it will work. The reason why two of your articles, or maybe more I guess, they do not have a created at value is because in the previous video we did something with that, if you remember. Anyway, let me also add a like button. So I will go back to this, and right at the bottom I will create a new div, class panel footer. And let me use some font awesome icons here. So FA heart, and pull right, just to make this to the right side of the screen. Of course, for now you will not see anything, and this is because we have not imported font awesome. So let me do this, font awesome CDN. I will get the link for this. Copy, go back to the master file, which is the app.blade.php, and you can do it right here. Just import it there, paste it, go back to this, and now you should have this heart here. Of course, this is not placed correctly, so let me fix this by going to the index, and right here use the clear fix class. So if I go back to this now, it should be alright, and it is. I think it would also be a good idea to change this from 6 to 4 and this one from 3 to 4. A bit better. And also the background color for this footer here, I want it white. So let me go back to this. I will add a style. I guess it is alright for this case. Background color white. Okay. Now it looks better. Let me only add some text here for the body. And I think it is fine. Everything is fine except that we are using article all here. And as we said, this will return all 1000 articles at once. And if we have 1 million, it will return 1 million articles. But I have 1000 articles, you do not have 1000 articles. So what I will do now is to go to the model factory and create a model factory for the articles and create 1000 articles for your case. So right here, I will copy the model factory for the user, so we do not repeat everything, and change this to article, get rid of the password, and we have, let me actually open the migration for the articles. So for the articles, this is not the right one, and this is, it should be posts. Yeah, it is posts because we, at some point we renamed that. Anyway, so as you can see here, we have a user ID, we have a content, and then we also have, let me go to the articles here, we also have a live and a post on. And actually, just to save some time, let me go to this articles table here, because we have different migrations for the articles table and it is a bit hard to find them. Anyway, so as you can see here, we have a user ID, we have a content, a live field, and a post on field. So we have to create a model factory to specify all these fields. So let me do that. I will go back to the model factory. So let me close this windows here. And right here, we need a user ID. So for the user ID, of course, we can use one of the created users. So user all, we can get a random user. And from that user, I want to fetch the ID. Then for the content, we can use Faker for this. And we can create a paragraph with 5 sentences. Then we have the live field, and for this we can actually very easily create a boolean using Faker. You can also pass a value here to specify what is the chance of getting a true value. So if I say here 70, then there is a 70% chance to get a value true. If I leave this empty, then there is a 50-50%. Okay, and the last one will be the live on. So for this one, what I like to do most of the times is to actually use carbon. So just say carbon, and I will say parse, and it will be +1 week from now. And actually this should be post on and not live on. Okay. Now regarding the user, I want to also create some users, some testing users, some dummy data. So we have added username and date of birth to this, if you remember. So if I go to the users table, you can see that we have a username and the date of birth as well, which are fields that we added them manually. So we have to include them also here as well. For the username, it is very simple. We can use Faker again, and I will just say word here. Now for the date of birth, as I said, when it comes to dates, I always like to use carbon. So I will say here carbon, carbon, and I'm 100% sure Faker has an option for dates, but as I said, when it comes to dates, I like a lot to use carbon, so I will just add my birthday there. I will click save and I will go to the database seeder to create a couple of users and a couple of articles. Now inside this file I want to create 10 users and 1000 articles. So factory and then app, user, class. So let's create 10 users. And let's also create 1000 articles. So click save and let's refresh and sync the database. So PHP artisan migrate, refresh and then seed. It looks like we have a problem here dropping one of the migrations. Anyway, a quick fix for this is to go to the database and drop all the tables. Okay, let me go back to this now. Okay, now it works. I will also try the previous command and see if we get an error this time. Okay, so now we do not get an error anymore. Anyway, with this data now in place, let me get the tables here. As you can see, we have 1000 articles and 10 users. So let me grab one of the usernames in order to log in. And let me go back to this, log out, log in. So the username is sit, yep, and the password for all the users is secret. So let me go back to the feed, and of course we get the same result. So let me replace the 1, 2, 3 here with the content that we have for each article. So right in the index, right here, I will delete this, and I will say article and then content. Back to this, reload, and as you can see, this looks a lot better with some real/fake content. Pretty cool. Anyway, of course, the problem regarding getting all the articles remains, right? Because we're still getting all the articles as you can see here. So instead of getting all the articles, what we can do is to use some pagination. So I will paginate the results and I will break them into chunks of 10 articles. So this is step 1. Now step 2 is to go to the index.blade.php, and here is where we specify the navigation links. So let me close this for else there, and right after the row I will create another row in order to add the navigation links. So class and then call MD4, call offset MD4, okay, and then we print the links. So articles, links. Let's take a look. And as you can see now, the results are paginated, so we get 100 pages with 10 articles each page, and of course each of them are unique. Except the username here, the name of the owner, because as I said, we will take a look of it later when we start talking about relationships. For now, I think this is fine. Okay, so before I close this video, let me go back to the articles controller and let me explain what we have done up to now. So we have worked with 3 different functions: the index function, the create, and the store. We still have the show, the edit, update, and destroy to complete all our CRUD operations. So as you can see, I take this step by step. We already saw different ways to create an article. We actually did that with Query Builder and Eloquent, and here we are using Eloquent actually. Regarding the create function, we do not need to do much here, we just have to return the view, and pretty much the same thing for the index, except that here we also have to get the articles, and in order to make our application faster, what we do is to paginate the results, get the articles, and then pass them to the index view. And so inside the index view, we just simply display each article with some CSS and HTML, of course, and the same for the create. We have a form, and here is where we create an article. And let me go back to this now. So if I go to the home, we go to the home page. If I go to my profile, we go to our profile with the name. the email and the age. If we go to create article, we get this beautiful, I think, this beautiful form where we can create an article. And then we go to the feed, and this is our feed here. So we still have a lot of work to do. We have to work with the relationships to get the owner of the article, and we also have to work with this like functionality here, so we can like the articles. Anyway, let me log out, and this will be the end of this video.